Ooh, little trap tunes. No copyright though, guys.
The Trap Bros.
The Trap Bros. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 39 of the Bocce Bros podcast. A long time coming, fellas. We took a few month hiatus in regards to podcasting. Just got a little reset, Tay.
We're busy.
Busy guys. The holiday season, work, personal lives, all that. However, the season has ramped up, and man, it's been a busy one, especially in January. Several key tournaments, as well as the most recent tournament, the singles, best of the best, which we'll touch on here shortly. But before we get started, we're going to bring you guys our sponsors. First up, Watertight Roofing Systems. When local homeowners and commercial property owners want excellent customer service and exceptional roofing, siding, and gutter installation skills, they contact the roofing contractor that delivers everything under one roof. Who is that, Dante?
Watertight Roofing Systems.
Dang right. Also, it is brought to you, a.k.a. the Bocce Bros, are brought to you by Forever Lawn. Forever Lawn is a turf company. Anything with golf greens, your yard, KG grass, which is designed for dogs, pets, etc., playground grass, and bocce courts. So thank you to Forever Lawn for being a key sponsor. We got Mad Cooge joining us remotely up in Palo, Ohio, with his quirky smile. I love it. Cooge, I like the jersey you're rocking.
Thanks.
People love the jersey.
From the Bocce Bros.
How can you get those?
You contact us. We will provide you a catalog of these wonderful polos with different designs. You can put your own custom logo on it, and we will get them all the way from Italia for you.
I think it's just exciting to see where, we'll dive all into this, but where the game has gone, where we never thought like jerseys would be a concern or ever thought. But when we first partnered with Marco from Our Sport, we said just give it a couple years, we'll get there. And now we see more and more teams trying to coordinate, wear jerseys or reach out to us. I know Kentucky has some, right?
Yep.
Dallas.
Big E wore his this weekend.
Yeah, he looked really good in his, I won't lie.
It fit?
It looked like a fit, right? No?
Hell yeah. Good job, guys.
It looked great.
I was only asking because I typically wear like a large or XL, but in Italian clothing, it's like a 4X.
That's been the question. So for the people listening at home, the Bocce Bros have ordered several jerseys to make sure the sizing's different, because those folks over in Europe they size things a little differently, huh?
Yeah, just a little bit.
A little tinier.
Yeah.
No Gmos over there.
Absolutely. Could you look tired? Were you somewhere this weekend?
I'm exhausted. Being in Youngstown all weekend exhausted me.
He was at a Dante Chiavetti tournament. The 3 a.m.ers, man.
Yeah, dude, that is.
We started on Thursday at 6 o'clock. We got there at like 2. Started at 6. My dad and I did not leave Dante's parking lot until 3 in the morning and got home in Columbus, Ohio at 5:30 in the morning.
Wow,
it's great.
Not bad.
Fun stuff.
Not bad.
Did your dad play in the singles tournament?
He did.
How do you do? I didn't notice.
He went 1 and 2.
All right, Paolo. What do you think of the courts?
Loved them.
Yeah.
I asked him on the way home, what did he learn? He said, I learned that I need to play more. I said, it's good. It's a good answer. And he said, pointing will win, which I think I agree with him. As you know, I know we're going to talk a little bit later around the players. But I definitely think pointing is key there when the back wall dead. Tournaments happen with the synthetic courts.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
And your dad ended up losing to his first game, the second place finalist.
Yeah. He lost to the second place, and I lost to the third place. It was great.
There you go. Be proud of yourselves. That's great.
Well, as always, fellas, we like to talk about previous tournaments, the way we could catch up on. Let's start with the January tournaments. First, the Lorenzino's High Stakes. I think it was
IMBS.
Yes, the High Stakes tournament. Sean New, Jimmy Paisano, Lou Nacera, and Mikey Paisano. Our guy Lou Every morning, 4:30 a.m., he hops in that cold plunge, and he's off to the bocce courts by 5:30, putting in the work, and obviously it's paying off for the guy.
100%. He's a killer. I know a couple folks were happy not to see him in the singles tournament this past weekend.
I think it was his birthday, so happy birthday, Lou. Huge friend of the Bocce Bros.
Yeah, a day one follower. He actually was the first one that came to us and was like, you guys need to just push this forward. You are the driving force behind bocce in our area. And I cannot commend you enough, Lou. Thank you. I know he wants to play in a tournament with us soon. So
no, we love
we're
Lou.
looking now, yeah.
Shout out to Lou.
100%.
Another tournament that happened was the Mount Carmel Society Winter Tournament. Gianni Colazzi, Bobby Gentile, Dante Chiavetti, and Matt Estes took that one. Also, the Mount Carmel, and I don't think I have this on here, I apologize, but it's the same team, so I'm just going to keep them up. Not Mount Carmel, excuse me. There was a Lorenzino's four-person tournament that Gianni, Bobby, Dante, and Matt won as well. So I think they went back-to-back tournaments.
Is it Lorenzino's? Wasn't it Lorenzino's? Was it? Anthony?
No, it wasn't Lorenzino's.
Where was that? I thought I saw it on the botch on the our
St. Anthony's.
It was St. Anthony's.
St. Anthony's. There you go.
Okay.
St. Anthony's.
My fault, guys.
No, you're fine. No, that was before Mount Carmel, I believe. Correct.
No, it was
That was
after.
a week after. Yeah, you're right. So Mount Carmel
That was the one
one
where I heard an unnamed tournament director never made it back after he lost.
Oh, really? What's that about? That's spicy. That sounds spicy.
I guess you run a tournament and he got eliminated and then he never showed face and someone else had to take over.
Dang, tough, man. Well, I guess that's the way the cookie crumbles in some people's worlds. But
guess.
Chiavetti, bigger conversation. Chiavetti's back on the map. It's been years from what I understand. I heard people love to poke at or bust balls, I should say, and I've been hearing that Chiavetti's back on the map now. I would have to say though, attributed to a new addition.
Absolutely. You got a guy, Matt Estes. He was a free agent.
The shit
starter, which we'll talk on because he had a post today that has Cooge, like 190 comments on it.
Yeah, like 190 right now. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll touch on that here shortly. But he usually played with, who was it, Capogreco. I know Delicio in the past, Trepepi. It's always kind of like a few rotating guys there. But he was picked up by those guys, and they found instant success. So they're one of the hotter teams to start this year. So shout out to Matt, the shit starter, Estes. And then we will go to this past weekend. Jose Boto, fellas.
Jose
Boto.
Boto.
My fault.
No,
So-
the best player that probably easily in the North America, right?
Yeah. No,
Yep.
no question.
No
I mean,
question.
I videoed his Natale Jose game because I wanted to be front row in the action.
Yep.
I was calling him Mike Tyson all weekend, and Natale was Buster Douglas. And, I looked at them when they started. I said, all right, guys, you guys have a clean fight, no dirty, nothing dirty. They look at me, they laugh. Jose goes down 9-0. 9-0.
9-1, I think. Or
9-1.
9-0.
9-1. Yeah, 9-1.
Tomato.
And I make a comment. And I said, I remember Dante telling me, I think in the Worlds, he was down like something similar and came back and won it. At that moment, he takes his jacket off.
Literally took his jacket off, a zip-up jacket. And that was my only comment to him. The only thing I said to him all weekend was like, hey, nice to see you. I was like, how do you play with a zip-up jacket on? And he's like, I was cold.
Yeah. Literally takes his jacket off. I look at Joe Plumbo. I go, when you're playing with like your little brother and you're like, okay, like now I'm going to win. That moment on, I think he scored, I don't think 12 unanswered points, but pretty much 12 unanswered points and just turned it up. It was it.
I could only imagine the mental side that plays with people who are playing against him, right? You're like, oh my gosh, I'm 9. And I know people will be like, dude, it's sports, like have that mentality, blah, blah, blah. I get that. But you're still playing one of the best guys in the country, if not the world, in this sport. He's down 9-1. He starts getting a few points here and there. All of a sudden the momentum shifts and you start, buckling up a little bit. I'm not saying the guy he played did that. I'm just saying that has to play a factor.
No, I mean, Natale played the right calls because Joe and I were like really analyzing the game as we were reffing / videoing. and he was going for the win on a couple throws. All he had to do was hit Polino, and he missed 2 shots that game, and those 2 shots cost him the game. And Jose didn't play a perfect game. He probably missed 4 shots that game, but it didn't matter. It never frazzled him. If you looked at the guy, it looked as if it was always 0-0.
Yeah.
And I talked to Nardone about this, so I can say it out loud. Like Mike, on the other hand, was like throwing his hands up, frustrated, down 10-0, but still won. But I think if you calm your emotions, you think you're always in it.
This
Who
guy.
are we talking to right now?
Anthony, how many years have we
talked this all the time?
Shut up. Cut him off. Mute his mic. Mute his mic. He's in the penalty box. 5 minutes. Mute.
Unbelievable, this guy.
But I mean, it was actually really cool to see Jose be down and just like nothing, just stone cold.
Yeah, it's that Kobe mentality, that Jordan mentality. It doesn't matter where you're at in the game. We've talked about it before. You just gotta play your next ball and move forward. It's easier said than done, but if you're able to control that, you'll find yourself coming back in those games more than not.
But I mean, I think his hitting obviously is very high percentage. I mean, he probably went 90% plus, but it really wasn't the hitting. It was when that Polino's in the back wall, and you can roll 3 consecutive balls back to back to back, not touch that back wall and be within 6 inches. That's impressive. Like he has that distance to wherever the Polino is, just down. That's what won.
Talk to me about his in-game play in regards to going down, looking at the balls, analyzing, like taking time between shots. Do you think he's just like, okay, I know what to do just because of how experienced he is, or does he? Yeah. Does he take his time and
it was rare that he actually crossed the line to go look. He actually asked at one point, like, can I come across? I'm like, yeah, you can go whenever you want, dude. Like,
he's used to playing more formal bocce that's more international all around, not Northeast Ohio, Pennsylvania bocce where, go do whatever the hell you want.
Right.
You're right.
The things he would ask Joe and I was distance, for the most part, 2 feet, 3 feet, 1 foot. And if he had second point, I mean, he kind of just has it like the back of his hand, like he knows when to shoot, knows when to point. And it was always, he already knew exactly what he was doing right when it came up. I would say for the most part, Joe and I, we were trying to call it before he would make the play. I would say for the most part, we were on track. There was a couple ones where like, oh, that's interesting. I don't know why he did that. And it's like, oh, now I know why he did that. Like it's a little different style on that he definitely plays.
So that brings the question that we've all been hearing. Wait, it's funny because it's 2 sides to it. We hear all year the cockiness of our area is like, yeah, bring on Jose. I'm better than Jose. I think we have a 10-minute clip of Popio at Mount Carmel on our live stream saying he'd play Jose and win like 13-0 or something. And he ended up having to play him and I think got skunked himself. But, then after the tournament, you see the comments like, Jose should have to pay extra to play in these tournaments. Is he even allowed to play in these tournaments? He should be considered a professional. I just want to immediately go against that narrative and say, if you're not willing to play the best in this game to get better, then then why are you in it? Especially the tournaments that we play in.
Absolutely. I don't want a guy paying extra. Like the goal is to beat him, right? Like. I don't get it. Whatever.
Yeah, we can be as good as him as if we figured out the technique and actually worked like him. He doesn't play in all the tournaments also on purpose. I remember talking to him at the ABC Open. I was like, "Hey, you're gonna play in the best of the best." This would have been before last year's best of the best, and he's like, "Oh no." I was like, "Well, why?" He's like, "It's time for someone else to win it." Basically in a nice way, he said that. And I think I've told this story before on the podcast, but like. He what he does notice though is the talent getting better, and he notices that, and he does compete, and I think it's good for our area. It's good for bocce in general, really good for bocce, and especially in the United States, for Jose to keep competing, and I hope that he does. I know he'll be at and we'll talk about it, but he'll be at the doubles, at the Mauro Frate and Molisani in 2 weeks. Yeah. I don't know who he's playing with, but I'm sure we'll dive into all that. Playing with Pat.
Did they win that one last year?
They did.
Yes. Yeah. But so he's a great player, and it just shows you that there's levels to this stuff. There really is. So
No, absolutely. I
Yeah,
always get excited when I'm in a four-man. I think the main tournaments that I've been at were just the Cleveland Challenge Cups that he's played in, and it's always fun to go over and just watch him and see, how he plays the game and works well with his teammates and all that. It's fun to watch.
yeah. I mean, I would leave it as what Dante put in Youngstown will 100% raise the bar on bocce, where there already is the majority of some of the best players coming out of. There's just only going to be so much better players coming out of.
Yeah.
Put an open club with synthetic courts where people can go practice at any time, and you can just tell people are just getting better and better and better. There is no more just go play and hope you win. It's like if you don't practice, the probability of you winning is slim to none.
Yeah. You're right, though, when it comes to – because there's so many courts in Youngstown. MVR, St. Anthony's, Padragiano Club, but they're really – everybody was kind of spread out, whether they had their tournament play or league play going on or whatever it may be. There wasn't like a one spot where you could be like, hey, I'm going to go play at this club from this time to that time. Who wants to come?
Right.
And because of that availability and most people in that circuit are now members of Lorenzino's, they're able to go there and play.
Right.
And a lot of guys and females are motivated because they have that access and because they're playing these pickup games and they want to beat so-and-so. And so, yeah, it's only going to elevate that play.
Right. So I mean, Jose obviously played great. Bubba, lights out. I mean,
My boy Bubba, short hair Bubba. I love him.
Mr. Infante, dude.
He played against Dante Chiavetti, beat him 12-3 on Thursday. I mean, it was a game that was like he was on fire. And then he showed up, went to play Neo on Saturday. I believe won Neo with Popio, and turned around and came back on Sunday and played lights out along with Popio all day Sunday.
Yeah. And we have to – I want a quick segue because we did just dive into Jose without going further. Shout out to the team that won the co-ed at Neo. It was Jen Hardy, Lee, Popio, and Bubba. So shout out to them. And like you said, then came all the way in. I mean, which second place to Jose is basically like first place to us,
Yeah, that's right. We should announce just the top four for the best of the best. You had Jose, Bubba, Bill Barnett, and then Frank Popio was fourth.
Mm-hmm. Bill Barnett out of New York.
Barnett, I got Barnett. And I'll tell you, I played him against Club Molisani in the fall. That was a game that we somehow won, luckily, and kept us in. And he was a great shooter that night. I mean, I remember him like, this guy can shoot. But not only can this guy shoot, he can roll.
Mm-hmm.
And his rolls were amazing. His shots were unbelievable. I mean, sticking. I mean, he stuck. I have a frame. I replayed my game. I threw a ball to Polino 6 inches 4 times. 4 times. And the guy stuck around all 4 times.
Wow.
Hard to
At
beat.
that point, I probably should have shot Polino, but I'm like, you know what? I was like, I want to put him in the position to miss. He didn't miss. The guy did not miss.
Yeah.
And he did that the whole game.
He entered our free agent portal one time for one tournament and 20-plus years of experience. And he's obviously a hybrid, and it shows. And Bill, he's a better person. Also, I had a chance to. I talked to him a lot actually this past weekend. So shout out to Bill. Good run. I'm sure we'll run into you soon.
A few other highlights from the tournament. Go ahead.
Sorry.
No. Go ahead. Talk about Popio.
No, I was to say then Popio got 4th, I think, right? I mean, obviously he had a great run. And then 5-6 was it Polance and Joe Cesar?
It was Joe. Joe was 5-6 was Polance and Cesar. Cesar, and then Mike Nardone and Bobby Gentile.
Love me some Bobby Gentile. I don't think he gets enough credit. He's always in the top. He was in the top in the last year's singles best of the best. He's obviously on Lorenzino's, or formerly known as Molisani Concessions. So I think he's an underrated player. He just doesn't get enough credit.
He's quiet.
He's quiet. I agree.
He lives in the shadows.
I agree. Bobby, if you're listening, I got to talk to him a little bit this weekend as well. We watched the Natale Jose game next to each other and talked about some strategies that they were going through. And so shout out to Bobby as well.
Speaking of Natale Jose, we'll have to post it as a clip on our Bocce Bro, so stay tuned for it. But we have live video of Jose almost getting murdered at Lorenzino's.
Yeah, thanks
I'm
to
telling
Jimmy
you-
Paisano.
I'm telling you, when a ball almost hit someone in the head, Jose, if he wasn't looking, would have got cracked in the head by this ball. No joke. And I have it all on video.
Yeah, it was close. It was close.
It was crazy.
Was he on the same court as Jimmy?
No,
Or what?
different
Separate court. The ball popped up so high, came across right at his head.
Goodness. It's gonna happen sooner or later.
I'm hoping Dante gets some feedback to possibly raise the middles.
Here's what I'll say about that as well. There has to be a form of etiquette as well. So in a lot of the tournaments I've traveled across outside of our area, you're supposed to warn the court next to you when you're shooting. Now, I know that can be tedious, right? But actually, it's not that much work to just lean over and yell at them. That way, they're just paying attention, and that way, no one's dying and no clubs are getting shut down. So everyone do everyone a favor. You're listening, keep your head on a swivel. If you're at a bocce venue, you should know better than to be looking at your phone or not paying attention. But also, more importantly, maybe we just, if you're alert the courts next to you, if it's, depending on the venue.
And if you noticed, and you watched Jose, which is interesting, he would stop even if someone was shooting on the other court and just wait. Like he was paying attention. So I think it's an etiquette that I think we continue to have to learn and grow in this area.
The games, yeah, exactly. Just like anything.
One other shout out I want to make is Valentina. So I think two, maybe three women played in the tournament. I think Sarah Wicker played, Valentina, and then Dante, who else played?
Lee,
right?
Our girl.
Yep. But Valentina made it to Saturday or Sunday undefeated.
Yep.
Nice.
A clean slate. So props to her for making it out of the bracket. And then she again played great. I mean, she had tough opponents, but it's awesome to see that. I believe she's the number one women's single from Canada. So it's cool to see her come down and do her thing here.
Yeah, 100%. And also another great person. Everyone from Canada is great, hey?
I was waiting for that.
I love it. And I know we keep going on and on about the singles, but what really was probably the biggest singles tournament that the country has seen in decades, or at least maybe ever. I'm not quite sure, at least my lifetime. But it would be remorse not to say anything about the unit's son, Chase.
Yeah, Chase went out there.
Chase's first big tournament, to my knowledge, and played. He scored 11 in every game, I believe. No?
Yep.
He
scored 11 in every game.
Which is a crazy stat to know that you were 1 point away from winning every single game you played.
He had Mike Paisano on the ropes.
Yeah.
I forget who he lost to.
Played Lee.
Beat Lee. Beat Phil Tate from Niles.
Yeah, good player. Just so shout out to him, and more so, just a really good kid. I know he was doing homework in between some games. So shout out to his mother, because we definitely know she had some hand in that.
Both hands, probably. Just kidding, unit. Eric. No, he's a teenager, right?
He's 14.
Yeah.
14. That's awesome.
14.
Hey, got to
Shoots
continue
well.
to grow the game. So good for him.
Yeah, 100%. It's great to have the youth. Keep
Yeah.
the movement going. But all right, I think that wraps up the Lorenzino's best of the best. I know we have other singles on the horizon.
Yeah.
But we'll get into those down the road. What else we got? So what else is new out there?
So there's a lot of talk, a lot of chatter going on, Bocce Underground page and all the other pages, and lists being thrown out there left to right. Everybody's upset with the lists.
Oh, people love lists.
You got the Underground Tour, you got this BPA things, like everything's just out there.
The panel.
The panel, yeah. So obviously that's getting a lot of chatter on the socials. But again, it's all good for the game. It's growing. People are interested in it, whether you like the lists or not. Most of them are just opinion based, so have fun with it. It's like a Stephen A. Sports talk show. Go out there and battle back and forth with your keyboard.
Mario Chalmers. Love me some Stephen A.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of that going on, so that's always fun, especially as these tournaments continue to get to these levels. I know in January previous years there were some tournaments, but it seems like this year from the jump of 2024 there's just been a ton of action and a lot of good competitiveness going on. So
I mean, the first 5 weeks are just action-packed tournaments. It's crazy.
I love it. I think it's exciting just because there were some weeks off, with the holidays and everything, and us here in Columbus, we don't have the indoor facilities like you all have. So when we get the chance to come up there and play in these tournaments, it's like a kid in candy shop for me. I love getting out there in these tournaments.
Yeah. Oh man, to be able to throw a ball indoor in Columbus would be
One
nice.
day, one day soon.
Some kind of practice would be great.
One day soon, I
One
promise.
day.
Speaking of bocce,
Wait, did you say bocce?
yeah, that's
Hey, Dante, tell them about the story when we went to lunch in Youngstown.
Oh, that's a good one. So
Speaking of bocce.
Speaking of lunch,
I'm going to tell the whole story. Twin Peaks first.
oh gosh, you guys went there?
Well, I don't. First of all, so hold on. So
Hold, please. Hold, please.
no. Let me tell the story. I'll tell the whole story and all of it. Anthony, we're on our way into town for the Mount Carmel tournament, Louisville Winter Classic. He's like, I want a burger. I'm like, all right, well, get off the exit. We'll figure it out. All right. So the first place we see off the exit, the old TGIF, so off the Bourbon Pulling exit, is now a Twin Peaks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what a Twin Peaks is. It looks like a ski lodge, for all I know. Anthony's like, oh, yeah, we'll just go there, right? Because I pointed it out, So we pull in.
Some nice mountains.
And yeah, so that's what he right? So he's kind of explaining to me as we're pulling in. I'm like, oh, okay, And the whole parking lot is packed. Like it's noon. I've never seen so many cars in this TGIF's parking lot that is now Twin Peaks. As we're walking up, we just see everyone at a table, like packed, just staring at us. As we walk into the door, like they're all just looking at us like we're weird. As we walk in the door, it's dead silent. And I'm like, is it a trivia night or something? And they just look at us like, yep, sorry, we're not even open yet. Orientation night.
Oh, shoot.
But the second part of the story is we go to La Villa. If anyone knows La Villa, it's one of our favorite spots.
The best.
And
Especially if you want to smell like wings after.
yes, you'll smell
leave.
you'll smell like grease and cigarettes and wings for the rest of the day.
It's fucking beautiful.
Amazing. We walk in, we have a nice little lunch, Anthony and I, romantic. After about an hour, we get up, and as we're walking out, someone I have a hood on and everything too. I'm being discreet and probably a little hungover if I had to guess. This guy reaches his arm. I was like, "Hey, are you the Bocce Bros?" He's like, "I listened to your guys' podcast."
Hell yeah.
I don't even know if he plays bocce. I didn't recognize him on the circuit, and I apologize if you're listening to this. I believe his name was Rick. Rick, A was the last name. That's all I got. I apologize, Rick. But he just said, keep up the good work. It was just a really nice gesture. Didn't know the man, and we appreciate it. It's just, a nice little moment that, good story
Absolutely.
too.
Those comments are the best.
Yeah, agreed. It keeps us going.
I like when we get the pictures of like, hey, I see somebody in some bocce gear, and it's stuff that we've sold, or people at the airports. They're like, somebody has this Bocce Bros bag,
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. No.
Will from Lockport was wearing his Lockport bocce hoodie, and it was sweet to kind of see the singles the whole day. I was like, this Nick Capogreco had the Youngstown bocce hat on. Croach had the Little Italy bocce shirt on. So it's just cool to see it all. Just people supporting us, so I love it.
Well, yeah, that's how you continue to grow it, baby. Got to represent. MVR Carmstrong, guys, there's an update if you guys listening aren't aware of. So it looks like last year was their first year they moved the tournament to Wednesday. They added extra courts, so there's 6 courts there now. It's a beautiful facility. Shout out to the Casises for all the work that they've been doing, as well as everybody else that's affiliated with that. But they started Wednesday, finished on Sunday. And the Sunday night championship game wasn't that hype. Part of it was probably because we were streaming, so people knew that the Bocce Bros had their professional stream going, and we could just watch it from home, which completely makes sense. It was a lot of work. It was like 16-hour days for a lot of people, including us. And one way for them to make the tournament, especially the championship game, a little bit more exciting is to end it on Saturday evening. So what they're going to do is they're moving the tournament to Tuesday, and it's going to play through Saturday. There's some mixed emotions about it, just like with anything any change that comes to really anything within the sport or even just in life. There's always some kind of, people upset, whatever. They have their opinions, and
Deal with it.
I get it. I understand everybody completely, but in the end, they have to do what they think is best for them to run a successful tournament and to make it the most exciting. And I think watching a championship game go off at 11, maybe midnight, but 10 o'clock, 11, whatever it may be, on a Saturday night would be awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Bocce's at a decent point right now where they will be able to fill those brackets, and no one will have an issue accommodating Friday morning or Friday evening bracket if they did a Friday morning. I doubt they do a Friday morning, but I'm just spitballing here. Like people move their schedules around for these big tournaments nowadays.
Right. Yeah, I agree. You have these bigger tournaments. There's several big tournaments, but there's always like 5 to 6 key ones, right? And if one or two of them you play on a Friday morning, I guarantee people will take off.
And I don't know if it's guaranteed yet, but I know that they are definitely trying to stick with the $10,000 to first place. So that's just another great thing that Cassis, I know that they're always thinking about that and making sure the players get their compensation for a major.
Yeah.
So shout out again to MVR, September 17th through 21st.
Yeah. In regards to hot topics, I think that's all I have.
Oh, there's a lot of hot topics we could talk about, I'm sure. But what's next?
2024 outlook. This weekend we have a big tournament, fellas.
The Slovenian, the Karanta Vanya. It only took me 3 years to learn it, but we learned it.
At the Slovak home.
No, not the Slovak home.
I was dying, so I know. I'm going to explain myself. So we posted, about the tournament, and Jimmy P, our friend Jimmy Paisano, posted the next one up is the Slovak home, and Brad Nosen
went off, man. He couldn't take it anymore.
Like,
Years.
God darn it, Jimmy! I've told you how many times.
Slovenia and Slovak aren't the same, and that's just a history lesson. Not everyone knew that, and including I feel like I might have been in the same boat.
But he posted a map. He's like, Slovenia's located here.
He gave him a whole geographical lesson on Facebook.
Yeah.
So the Slovenian national home this weekend. It is a Friday and Saturday double elimination tournament. So just like we said about MVR, this ends on Saturday, typically with a little bit of a crowd. It is a festival first, so the tournament's surrounded around the festival, and it is a good time. It is packed shoulder to shoulder. The courts are a nice crushed stone. We love them. They're similar to our home courts here in Columbus, which is probably paid tribute to last year's wins we had, because we had some fortune. We were able to bring home a victory and win the tournament. So we're hoping, no one's ever done it, twice for this tournament. It's tough to do it in general.
Right.
We're hoping to just get a couple wins and, take each game one at a time. But more importantly, for the folks at home who don't care about that, we're streaming.
Yep.
We're streaming it. The whole tournament, just like we did last year. The only difference is, other than last year, this year it's only going to be better. Because what do we do every year? We improve. Yeah. We get better for the game, for you folks at home. So what do you guys think? Are we going to be able to get both courts streamed at one time or no?
Yeah. So similar to last year, and Cooge, maybe we could talk about this off the air, but last year we had, I think, 4 or 5 cameras set up, 2 on each court and then 1 for the booth. And we were able to switch back and forth between the courts for the games. Sometimes it might be a blowout, so we'll focus on one game, but we always try and go back and forth just to keep you guys updated on what's going on. And why are we doing it? Well, they reached out to us, so that's what's really important about this for the streaming. We've proved ourselves over the last 3 years to be at the forefront of the streaming game for bocce. Other people have joined along, and we love to see it, because the more bocce we get to watch, the better. Our wives or husbands might not like it when we're on the couch watching a movie, and instead we're looking at our phone watching Jose Bodo, skip a ball and hit the other person's perfectly. But they reached out to us, and we worked out a deal to go out there and stream for those 2 days. So if you guys are interested in that, please reach out to us. There is ways to fund it. You could add an extra $5 per team or per player just for that streaming. I know there's a lot of people out there that are willing to do that. There's ways to get sponsors. There's always ways to figure it out. And it's not just us trying to make money. It's us. We put
That's a good joke.
I mean, we are, but it's because we put X amount of time and effort into this, and you guys could see it when you're watching it. And if you've ever streamed or went on a live stream yourself with your phone to stream a tournament, you know how difficult it is. So
if anyone wants to see our tax returns, I will gladly send them and not hold them back like Trump did. Yeah. Just so you know. But I will say I am super excited, and people actually kind of get pissed when people aren't streaming.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
So I think just to remind people, it's a lot of work. and we want to do it more. It's that we are continuing to try to work with these tournament directors to provide you guys what you want.
I think with that all being said, we have some ideas in the works of expanding that. So hopefully in 2024, things will be a little bit better. We'll see where things go. So stay tuned.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one. Stay tuned, people. Slovenia tournament, there's a lot of good teams. They released the bracket today, so if you guys haven't seen that, I assume it's on Bocce Underground right now or even their main page. But go ahead and take a look. A lot of good teams, so I'm excited for that. I think this is one of my favorite tournaments. I just think this is more of an underrated tournament, and I don't know if it's because it falls in February, it's the winter, but the festival in general, to have a festival in the winter, I know they set up tents outside, but they have a huge banquet area indoors, the basements where the bocce courts are at. Like Dante said earlier, it's shoulder to shoulder, but there still is enough room to get around.
Oh, yeah.
And it is a great time. The music's blaring. You got the band upstairs playing their tunes that you could hear it from the basement. So even if you're not playing in it, stop by, come say hi, join us in the booth. It'll be good.
And then 7 days after that, or a little less than that, we have the flighted Maro Frate doubles tournament at Club Molisani. This is
96 teams.
This is probably one of the bigger doubles tournaments in the nation.
I'm pretty sure the biggest doubles.
The biggest, yeah. Just being where it's at, you have the best player in the country attending, Jose Bodo. I'm sure as many other players from around the country. It's going to be really fun. I know Anthony and I are playing in it this year, Saturday morning. Should be a good time, but it's just these tournaments are getting popular. More and more teams want to play, more and more players.
Are you guys playing in that?
Saturday morning.
Oh, yeah. Who's pointing?
I don't know. We'll figure it out. Whichever way he feels, I'm fine with doing whatever. I think he feels. Yeah, I think he feels vice versa, especially at Molisani.
Good stuff. Followed by that, we have our Florida trip.
Yes. I can't
Viva La Florida.
That'll be fun. Cape Coral tournament.
Yeah, is I know a lot more folks from our area and our circuit are going now, probably because we won it last year.
We win one tournament, everyone's like, "Oh, well, they can win it."
If the bros are playing, and
might as well make a free trip and go win that thing since they won.
No, last year was the 3-person tournament, 2 balls each person, so 6 balls a team. That was my first time, I think, experience playing that because I haven't played Vegas yet up until that point. It was me, Anthony Cugini, and his father, Paolo, one of the bocce dads. And
on
his birthday, and boy, did we suck. We were so bad in group play. Thank God it was group play. We would have just been home right away. And we had dinner after the first day of group play, and I said, "Hey, fella, you know how positive the Cuginis are, right?" After a couple of losses, yeah. So I was at the dinner table, enjoying my glass of wine, my homemade meal by the nanas, and I said, "Listen, guys, all we gotta do is win out. Like we'll be all right. We're gonna win the next one, the one after that."
And we showed up and lost the first game the next morning.
Lost the first game against our boy Tim Trepepi and the gang, and squeaked in somehow and then went on to win the rest of our games. But the point of that story is to be a little more positive, and things will work out. But we're going back this year, and it's not 3-person; it's 4-person. So they added a 4-person, 2 on each side. So it'll be a different game for us. Not too different. We're obviously no strangers to that, but more importantly, in the sun,
side, which will be fun.
I'm just looking forward to being on the sun. The Cuginis, have a good place for us to stay over there. I don't.
I'm gonna work on my tan in between throws. Dante, good job on the website. So
thank you. Yeah, we revamped our website. Yeah.
Take a look. If you guys, as we're talking about bocce tournaments, you can go on our website and look at all the ones that are upcoming. But Dante did a great job organizing that. So proud of you.
I think we're gonna redo our apparel here soon, right? I think we're gonna move.
Yeah, we have an upgrade on our apparel.
Yeah, we've been in the lab on that, so hopefully within the next couple of weeks that'll be complete.
If you want to buy any of those kind of designs we have now, get them now. They might be gone forever.
Gone forever, yeah. Limited edition now at this point because we're moving on.
And if you want us to sign anything before we send it to you, just let us know. We'll put signatures
an extra
on
$5. We'll get you signed gear.
Sign it, Mad Cooge. Fellas, that is all I have for my outlook.
That's the itinerary?
That is the itinerary. I don't know if there's anything to talk about. We're at 40-some minutes, so I think that's a pretty good
That's
pod.
money. That's such a good time.
Get everybody updated. I mean, the big thing is we want to continue these podcasts going. Updated some equipment. These mics, I think, are working better, so good job, Dante, on that. We need to get Cooge a mic and a headset for sure, though.
Yeah, we'll get there, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like, are we missing something? Is there anything we're missing?
No, we got to get Jose on, though.
Oh, yeah, I did want to mention that. You know, people have asked us recently, like, you ever thought about getting Jose? Would you do something like that? And yes, I think he would, just from the conversations I've had with him. He said he's interested. The only different thing is we don't want to do it virtual. It's just so tough to have a deep, meaningful converation. So we're gonna get him in person, maybe during the doubles weekend. You know,
Yeah,
in these double elimination tournaments, there's awfully a lot of time in between games. So hopefully we can get him in the cigar room or one of the rooms back at Molisani and get him for 45 minutes to an hour just to discuss some things, because I think that to get his outlook on and the experience he's had traveling around the not just the country but the world playing, would be pretty insightful conversation. So stay tuned for that. If you guys are listening, I know one of you are listening that has Jose's number. Just convince me, like, hey, you got to get on Bocce Bros podcast. We're coming for you, Jose.
Yeah, we got to be prepared for that one.
I like it. All right, fellas.
All right. Everybody, thank you guys for tuning in. As always, we just want to shout out our sponsors, Watertight Roofing, as well as Foreverlawn. We are the Bocce Bros. This is episode 39 of the Bocce Bros podcast. We will be live this weekend at the Slovenian National Home. So make sure you look out for that. Subscribe on all pages. And we'll say salut. Chindan.
Take care.
Farewell.